Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action. And we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Anthony, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap. So always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
Here we are, guys. A 100% race around the Italian Grand Prix, driving as Charles Leclerc. I'm so excited for this. Let's just get right into it. We're starting from the back of the grid, and it looks like we're going to have some rain to interfere at the back end of this race. 5 red lights. And away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's see if we can do Ferrari proud here. We've got our teammate Sebastian Vettel starting off the front row of the grid. And yeah, let's see how quickly up the grid we can get. This will be a really good showcase as we head into turn 1. No room there, so I just really had to cut the corner to really just avoid running into the side of Gasly. But it's P17 at the moment. This is going to be a fantastic showcase as to what the overtake button can do for you when you press it. We're in the best car for it. The Ferrari is the greatest in a straight line of the 2020 cars, and I also have trimmed off a little bit of downforce. I think 4-6 wings, and we should be pretty darn slippery in a straight line to get some overtakes made. So 53 lap race, a full length Grand Prix as you would see in real life, and yeah, we're going to see what the strategy is, whether we'll possibly interfere with that. You would expect, but now we press the overtake button and you can see we're just zooming in and out of traffic. This Ferrari is absolutely phenomenal in a straight line. We get up the inside of one of the AlphaTauris, that being Pierre Gasly, and that is P15 for us. So not a bad start. 5 positions in the first lap. We now make some inroads on Carlos Sainz, who's bottled up behind Giovinazzi. He's bottled up behind his teammate Lando Norris, and they're all defending to the inside as we head into Parabolica. We fly past not 1, not 2, but 3 cars on the run into Parabolica, and the final overtake is proving to be a little bit difficult as we've got Norris on the inside. Thankfully, we managed to clear him around the outside. The Ferrari does have better downforce than the McLaren. And look at us, we're absolutely flying in this race. We seem to be just catching people at the right time, it seems, as we defend to the inside at turn 1. Grosjean trying to put a move on us around the outside, not quite doing there. 3 wide for these AI. The exit of turn 1 is not going to fare well for Sergio Perez, and we get up the inside of him. So we're really expelling the battery at this stage, and this is all in an effort to just clear the traffic early. You have no idea how much time you can save just by clearing the traffic and running your own race. But we seem to be doing pretty well for the moment. Our teammate, Sebastian Vettel, is getting away. I'd say he's about 10-12 seconds ahead at this stage. So although the progress has been amazing, we really do need to keep going if we want to have a chance of winning this race. Slipstream and DRS. And just look at this. The overtake button is insane as we fly around the outside of Lance Stroll there on the run into Ascari. And here's the replay from Stroll's rear wing. We had to take to the right-hand side of the circuit. There was actually a bit of extra pavement there, which allowed us to kind of scoot around the outside of Lance Stroll there. That was perfect timing for that bit of extra track to be there. And we made the most of it. P8. Next up, we've got the big boys, or the start of the big boys, that being the top 3 teams. Not Esteban Ocon, Alexander Albon. That's always a tongue slip for me. I don't know why, but it is sometimes. Double overtake once again, and we just caught Raikkonen and Albon at the perfect time. And now we're pushing on for the top 5. Next up is Ricciardo, who had a really good showing here in 2019. I believe P4 in the Renault. Was the best result that they managed to get. Here's Ricciardo actually making a move on Max Verstappen at turn 1. This is unprecedented. I didn't think the Renault was that good on the 2020 Performance Index. But Ricciardo is doing bits here today in this Italian Grand Prix. flies past Verstappen. Verstappen might have a response here on the next lap, as we are now in slipstream range of these guys. We press the overtake button once again. It's party mode here at Ferrari as we fly past both of them. Goodbye, Ricciardo. And whoa! Ricciardo, where did that come from? That is absolutely mental. The amount of bravery that he took into turn 1. The AI are a lot smarter this year, guys. They will try and break the slipstream. They'll try and defend a little bit more. They'll squeeze you off a little bit. And now they will try and dive bomb you back. Just like your average F1 2019 online player. We've got a mistake from Valtteri Bottas as the rain is now starting to strike. Here's a replay from Lewis Hamilton's on board in the Mercedes right behind his teammate. And it looks like they both make the same mistake as the track conditions are really falling off the cliff here. That being the tyre, the temperature of the circuit and also a bit of dampness on the track starting to emerge. And both Mercedes critically making a mistake at the exact same time, which was very interesting. So that's another thing. The AI can make mistakes in this year's game. And it's going to be very important in career mode to pick a teammate who has got good experience, good awareness, good racecraft, and you'll be able to minimize those kind of mistakes. But yeah, it's pit stop time. Sebastian Vettel got called in at the perfect time. DRS has been disabled, so it is now time for the intermediate tyres. We've been hung out to dry, or shall I say, hung out to get absolutely soaked by Ferrari. So nice number 2 driver strategies here by the team. And I can tell you, when the rain hits, it's a completely different system this year. The conditions change so quickly. It's like flicking a switch. All of a sudden, like, you'll have decent grip, but then all of a sudden, the track will be like an ice skating rink. It's probably the best description I have of it. And by the time we got into turn 1, just after DRS getting disabled, I had absolutely no grip. I was aquaplaning everywhere, and as such, we've lost so many positions. Bottas, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Ricciardo, we've lost positions to all of them. And we're going to have to climb back up the field to get them back now. So, yeah, let's race back through if we can. Dive bomb on Bottas into the second chicane, and we just about get that pulled up. Let's pull up a replay of that because that was absolutely phenomenal. Outside on Raikkonen, inside for Bottas. 2 fins in 1 corner. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Ricciardo. It's actually set to be getting towards heavy rain at some point. And that might only be a few laps away as we get up the inside of Ricciardo into turn 1. However, this time we get the braking all wrong and take to the escape road a little bit, and Ricciardo gets back through. So it's P5 for us once again. We try again on the next lap, and this time we get the move done a lot earlier on in the straight, and that makes life a whole lot more easier for us. So now we can set after the top 3. Verstappen is up next, and he actually makes an early stop there for wet compound tyres. Here's my teammate once again on the preferred strategy. He's going on to wets at the perfect time. So too is Hamilton right behind. But this time we're not going to get hung out to soak. We're going to double stack at Ferrari here, and we're going to see if double stacking on F1 2020 is costly. I can confirm it is, because nice pause from the team there. That's the stupidest thing ever. And we got held for Max Verstappen, who was coming into his pit box there. So again, more time lost in the pit stops. It's been a very costly race so far, but thankfully it's a long one. Still 33 laps to go, and we've got a lot of time to make up the difference, and a lot of time to now rack up some penalties as we get our first of the evening. That is, yeah, we're on strict corner cutting rules as we try and pull a move on Max Verstappen. We do the double bluff around the outside into the middle sector chicane, and that is us onto the podium now. My teammate is 11.5 seconds up the road, but here's the double bluff. Inside, or outside, then inside, then back to the outside again, and Max Verstappen had absolutely no answer to that. Into the podium positions now, and this is following up right after the overtake. Max puts it up into overtake mode, and he goes for a very audacious dive into Lesmo 2, and that has not worked out for him at all. I'm not going to put full blame on him though, because I definitely turned in on him. It was not an overtaking place, but we move. It's P3. And at this point in the race, we finally have some clear air, and we're going to see if we can make some inroads on our teammate once again. However, since switching to the wet tyres, I immediately got a message from Jeff saying that the weather was going back to intermediate tyres. So that was a very short-lived stint on the inters. For the first time this race, we actually stopped at the preferred time as opposed to our teammate who carried on for an extra lap. But we rejoin on the circuit. Verstappen is now lapped, so I think he's had a coming together with someone else as well. And now we chase down the race leaders who lost a bit of time in the pit stop phases. But now we're going to make a move on Hamilton here. Are we into turn 1? No. I tried to actually outbrake Hamilton into turn 1, but it's Hamilton and Ricciardo. I will say this. With the last of the late breakers out of any of the AI, the amount of speed that they carry into corners is insane. As you saw from Ricciardo earlier. We're trying to go around the outside of Lewis here into the middle sector chicane. Have to leave him space on the inside, and that is move done for us. Not a great exit though into the middle sector, and now we're under pressure from Lewis once again as he tries to go around the outside at Lesmo 1. That's not really going to work out for you well there. And now it is time for dry tyres. The conditions are just changing so quickly here at this Italian Grand Prix. It's very unpredictable. The track is pretty done dry at this stage, and surprise, surprise, Vettel is in again, Hamilton is in, and I am actually, this time, hung out to dry as the DRS has been enabled. I can't win, man! I've been so fast in this Grand Prix. Every time I get within striking distance of my teammate to get the preferred strategy, to get the preferred pit stop time, the weather changes, we have to change tyres, and we lose 10 seconds in the pit stop nearly every time. Here we are back on the softs. And look at that, the gap to Vettel, 9 seconds. It's an absolute joke, man. Absolute joke. But we finally get some fortune in this Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo has retired from the Italian Grand Prix. Engine failure at turn 1. That's pretty darn realistic, I would say. Safety car is deployed. And now Vettel has nowhere to hide because there is no more pit stops for the rest of this Grand Prix. And I've got fresh soft compound tyres. 1 lap fresher than my teammate. 1 lap fresher than Hamilton. So let's do this, baby. Restart. We do have a lap car in the way. But let's see if we can get this guy regardless. Have a listen to the engine sound, because why not? Again, I tried to outbrake Hamilton in the turn 1, but his AI is insane. He really is last of the late breakers. Bottas now moves into P4, and at this point in the race, I was really thinking this was going to be easy. I thought I was going to romp away with this Grand Prix. I felt like I've had the pace on the AI for the majority of this race, but for some reason at the restart, everyone had amazing pace. Maybe the AI saved fuel, and they were able to burn a little bit more at this point, but I was really struggling in this early restart phase of this Grand Prix. We finally get past Hamilton, but look at him, really late on the brakes into turn 1. That was difficult to do. We finally get it done. It's P2 now. Bottas moves into P3, and Bottas, for a few laps here, was very fast. I'm out of battery, actually, in an effort to try and catch my teammate. Bottas flies back through, which is frustrating, but at the same time, it might help us, because I can use his slipstream and his pace to get in front. But then the VSC kind of ruined those plans as we have this massive crash here with Romain Grosjean trying to overtake the Williams. Watch his steering wheel. We'll see on the cockpit view on the next shot. He just kind of jinks his wheel left and right, and then he overcorrects and goes straight into the wall. This is the AI mistakes coming into play, which I love to see. Makes for some unpredictability. But we get some momentum back in this Grand Prix. We get past Bottas, and again, Vettel is just outside of the 1 second region. And now I'm having to fast forward the video a lot to fit it in within 15 minutes. And you won't be able to tell, but this part of the race was a real struggle. I was really having to manage my fuel, really having to manage my battery, and then here on lap 50, this was the turning point. I feel like Vettel has turned his engine down because I'm in lean and regular ERS setting, and I am keeping pace with him here as we go around the outside into the middle sector chicane. Can we get the move done for the lead of the Grand Prix? Yes, we can. It is a Ferrari 1-2 with Charles Leclerc leading the way here in this Italian Grand Prix. The rain is coming back again, guys. This is unbelievable scenes. But yeah, the gap is 1.9 seconds. I need to bridge the gap to Vettel by 3 seconds in order to win this Grand Prix because I have a 3-second time penalty. But it's the last lap of the race now. I've been trying to push as much as I can. But again, it turned into an ice skating rink and there was absolutely nothing I could do. Vettel will win by virtue of the penalty. We finished first on track. But at the end of the day, it was not enough. And Vettel is your victor at the Italian Grand Prix. Very, very lucky he was with the strategy, with the way that things fell today. But at the end of the day, I shouldn't have got the penalty. Thank you so much for watching. I know this seemed like a rush video, but there was just so much action. I had to squeeze into such a short amount of time. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for a brand new video very soon.